friends with our area-wide mission project, Feed My Starving Children. It's going to be happening less than a month, March 18th and March 19th. I felt that God was leading me to share with you some Bible verses that form some of the reasons why I'm going to volunteer again to help with this amazing, inspiring world hunger mission. These Bible verses challenge me to not just read the scriptures, read these Bible verses, but actually act on them and live them. In the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, Jesus was teaching about God's love and grace before 5,000 men, not including the women and children. The disciples were worried that the people were becoming weak. They'd been listening to Jesus teach for many hours, and it got to be around a mealtime, and the disciples were worried that the people were getting faint from not having nourishment. So they approached Jesus and said, "Teacher, do you think maybe we should let the people go home and get some food so they won't be weak and faint?" And Jesus turned to his disciples and said, "They don't need to go home. You feed them." Now picture being one of those disciples and hearing Jesus say, "You feed them." More than 5,000 people. You don't have enough money to even buy the food, even if it were near you. You just don't have enough resources. But suddenly, Andrew had said, "Well, there's this little boy that has like 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what's that going to do toward feeding many, many thousands of people?" Jesus said, "Well, give me what you have." And he took the barley loaves and the fish, he lifted them to heaven, and he asked God the Father to bless and multiply and empower those few things to help satisfy the hunger of the people that were listening to Jesus. It happened. After Jesus blessed the food, it was able to serve all the men, the women, and the children, and they even had 12 basketfuls of scraps to pick up. In the Gospel of John, chapter 21, verses 15, 16, and 17, we read about a post-resurrection event when Peter and the other disciples, after Jesus being killed and then risen from the dead, they still didn't have him here on earth with them like they wanted him to be. So they were out in Peter's fishing boat, but didn't seem to be successful at all. There was a stranger on the seashore there who called out to him, "Friends, have you caught any fish yet?" And Peter said, "No, they'd been fishing long and hard, but not been successful." And the stranger said, "Well, throw your nets on the opposite side." And they did. And when they did, they collected 153 fish that seemed to be actually jumping into the net to be caught. Suddenly, those nets were filled to the gills with fish. And the disciples, suddenly, John realized, "Oh, this is the Lord." Peter instantly jumped out of the boat and swam to the shore, where Jesus cooked their breakfast for the disciples. Afterward, Jesus walked over to Peter and he said, "Peter, do you love me?" And Peter answered, "You know I love you." Jesus replied, "Then feed my lambs." The second time, Jesus said, "Do you love me?" And Peter said, "Lord, you know everything. You know I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." A third time, Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" And Peter answered, "You know I love you, Lord." And Jesus said, "Then feed my sheep." When we think about the feeding and the miracles that happened, I want you to consider this on what the Lord may be saying to you and to me. In the 1500s, there was a woman named Teresa of Avila, a Spanish nun, who wrote these words. Christ has no body but yours, no hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which he looks compassion on this world. Yours are the feet with which he walks to do good. Yours are the hands with which he blesses all the world. Yours are the hands, yours are the feet, yours are the eyes. You are his body. Christ has no body now on earth but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which he looks with compassion on this world. Christ has no body now on earth but yours. Friends, I'm inviting you to join me in donating 2 hours of your time on Friday, March 18th or Saturday, March 19th to help pack 101,088 meal packs, with each pack able to feed 6 people. If you feel God is leading you to assist us with this very important World Hunger Mission project, just call our Christ Church secretary, Teresa McIntosh, and ask her to register you. The phone number is 740-286-3419. Ask her to register you for a 2-hour time slot on either that Friday or Saturday. You're invited to register your family, neighbors, friends, sports teams, clubs, organizations. You will be a great blessing to many of the world's poorest children and their families, and I know the Lord will bless you for blessing them. I believe Jesus is asking you and asking me to feed his lambs, to look after his sheep, and to feed his sheep. And I also believe Jesus is asking you and asking me to be his hands, his feet, his eyes, his heart of compassion. Will you?